Hello and welcome to day 3 of the Ready to Be Known 3-part webinar series. And today we're talking about choosing an angle and finding your unique take on it. Now, this is possibly one of the most important things you will learn to do as you start to put yourself out there more and try to get publicity for your business. So I'm going to go straight in and we're going to get started straight away. Actually, before I forget, there have been a couple of questions in relation to yesterday's video on keyword research and PR. So I have taken note of all of those questions and I will tackle them in a separate video. So absolutely no problem. I'm happy to address all of those questions. And as I say, I'll do a separate video on those. If you haven't checked out that video already, you will see it in this series on my YouTube channel, and you'll also see day 1 there as well. Okay, so let's get going. Angles, not topics. Now, this is something, it's going to take a while, if you're new to this, it's going to take a while for you to grasp this, because when I worked as a journalist, I got a lot of pitches about topics, broad topics. But as my editor always said to me, Sandra, I need an angle. I'm not interested in topics. We all know about topics. Topics are broad. A story needs an angle. So this is me here doing a story in a paper I worked in called the Sligo Weekender, based in Sligo in the northwest of Ireland. And I did a one-page column every week on a certain health issue, health story. And I got a lot of pitches in from people pitching me all kinds of stuff. So I've taken this example as a way to show you how to take a topic and start to niche it down and find angles. So the topic here is gardening. And the angles, I've listed some here. So there's community gardening, gardening for food growers, gardening for food growers who don't have a garden. And then you'll see here that there's breakout pieces, the goodness in fruit and veg, and dispelling 5 of the worst food myths. Now, when you're pitching a journalist, it's always really important to have other little snippets of content that you can offer them, as well as your angle. And I call these breakout pieces. And here you'll see the main angle that we chose for this piece was boost your health the natural way. So you get out there and it's mainly about a garden for food growers who don't have a garden and who join up in a community garden type space. It was a really positive story and a very unique angle on the broad topic of gardening. And as part of this piece, I talked to people who didn't have a garden and who absolutely loved the joy of coming to this community garden, meeting other people and growing fruit and vegetables. So this gives you an idea if you apply your own broad topic and then start to see angles that work their way down from there. Okay, let's dive more into this. So as I said, if you don't have a unique angle, there's no story there. So if you're just pitching broad topics and broad stories, then that's probably the reason why your story isn't getting picked up by a journalist or a blogger or a podcaster. They're looking for an angle. So your content, your press release, your guest blog, your story, your articles on your site, they're only engaging to readers if they have a unique angle. So we need to narrow down our topics. So I've showed you the gardening example, and now we're going to take a look at another example. So I have what I call my unique angle formula. So you have the broad topic. So you look at the issue first with a wide lens. And I encourage you to do this because this helps you to update your knowledge on the various things that have been happening in the area, things you may not know about. So take the wider angle first and start to see what's trending, what's popular, what topics maybe need more attention, need your expertise, and you need to get in there and write a guest post. So then when you have the broader topics, then you start to sub-niche it down. You niche it down and niche it down. So start taking notes of what subtopics that you see come up in the broader topic when you go to search. And I've put keywords here in brackets because this is important. I talked about keywords yesterday and how incorporating them into your strategy is very important. But as you do your research, I want you to start noticing keywords and keep an eye on keyword phrases that come up time and time again. And then you're going to be working on finding your unique angle. And as you go through this process, you will probably start to find your own unique angle as you go along. This isn't something that's going to happen overnight, certainly, but as you go through the process and as you do this again and again and again when you go to write your content, you will find that you do have unique angles that are ready to be written. Now, I find that if you are struggling, it is good to take a look at popular news sources. And the one that I always tell people to go to is Netflix, because this is a source of news and a source of angles and a source of lots of news stories for journalists. So let's take the broad topic again. And this time we're going to look at decluttering your home. This is a really broad topic. So then we're going to narrow it down. So are you going to look at the kitchen? Are you going to look at the bedroom? Are you going to look at the bathroom? Are you going to look at the office? Like, what part of decluttering the home are you going to look at? But that's not enough. You also need to narrow it down into like, what type of person are you going to help? Are you going to help families? Are you going to help families with 1 or 2 kids? Or are you going to help families that have more than 1 or 2 kids? Are you going to help a family that are sizing down, or a family that are buying a bigger house? Maybe it's a couple that are finding that all their children are moving out and they need to start decluttering their house. Maybe it's a neighborhood decluttering challenge that you're going to organize. Like, you need to start thinking about the type of people that you want to help, or that you want the content to be targeted to. So then we look again at the type of person. Are these people hoarders? Are they pressed for time? Do they like to keep a lot of memories around the house? Like, what kind of person are they? So start to figure out how your content is going to be narrowed down, either by sub-niching it down into topics, sub-niching it down into the type of person that you want to help. Because this is what will start to help you see where your unique angle is going to come from. So then I want you to look around again and see what your competitors are writing about, and if your unique angle has already been written about, or if you can take another angle on something that one of your competitors has written about. Maybe you disagree with their angle. Maybe you can update that piece. Maybe some new technology has arrived and you want to start incorporating that into your content, and you're like, okay, this was the old way of doing things, but now with this new piece of technology, we can do things differently and quicker and faster. So I want you to go and look on the Google search engine results page and see what's trending on the first page of Google, see what articles come up, and also look at Google Trends. Google Trends is an underused source of information in PR, I believe, and it will give you such a great amount of information on your area based on when it trends during the year. So when you pop your information into Google Trends, it will show you over the space of a year when there's spikes in that content and when people are looking for more of what your keywords are. So you type in your keyword and Google Trends will tell you, well, in October there's a massive spike in people looking for that, or in February the spike is a lot lower, it's only a smaller spike. So you will start to see when you need to write that content and when it's more beneficial for you to have it on your site. And then you can also add your personal take. And I always find that this is actually a really good way to get a unique angle. You don't have to do this all the time, certainly not. But if you can add a personal slant on how you decluttered your office or how you decluttered your laptop, um, definitely if you can add some personal insights, then that makes it even more unique. So we started off with looking at the broad topic of decluttering your home, and you may or may not be aware of the Home Edit on Netflix or the Marie Kondo series, hugely popular. If you are looking into doing certain stories, it is a good idea to look at various news sources, like say news sources uh, like Netflix, like Amazon Prime, and see what's trending there and see if you can spot things that are coming up down the line that you can tie in with. Okay, so I've dived into content straight away over the last 3 days, and I'm just going to let you know a little bit about me and who I am. And I'm sure you've been probably wondering, okay, well, who is she to tell me about how to become more visible in the media? Well, I'm a journalist, former journalist with well over 10 years experience. I now work as a PR trainer. I train people how to do PR, and I'm also the author of 2 books that are currently on Amazon. And myself and clients have featured in the places you'll see here: Irish Independent, Closer, Forbes, Harper's Bazaar. And I absolutely love letting people inside the minds of journalists and inside the newsroom so they can get a better idea of how to pitch their content. And nothing makes me smile more than knowing that this information is helping people and helping them get more visibility for their business and to grow their business.